Welcome. Weekly Roundup, Hart Investment Group, June 26, 2023 for the record. I'm back.
23rd, 2023.
What did I say?
26th.
Yeah, what did I say? Oh, it's the 23rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening on the 26th.
Not sure.
I have to edit that part out. I probably won't. But anyway. All right. Well, it's feeling a bit silly today, but let's get started. I was away last Friday, so I'm kind of not in the flow of things here. So tell us.
Getting back in the swing of things.
That's it. Tell us what happened this past week.
Lots, I think, still going on, certainly from the economic perspective. I think Canadian-wise, retail sales were a little bit better this reading than last time, but they also revised their previous number lower. So they tend to give guidance and then revise the number. And so I think the bigger surprise was a downward revision to the previous month. So retail sales slowing, that's typical as the rates tighten up. We continue to see that. From a what's happening in the world perspective, obviously the sub issue going down to the Titanic, that was caught a lot of news. That was very sad for how that played out. And in the markets, we saw lots of 52-week lows this week. So lots of stocks, certainly dividend payers, and more of the businesses that take leverage to grow their businesses tend to be under pressure. So we saw the pipes, the REITs. What else do we see here? IBM hit a 52-week low. Lots of the companies starting to come into that category. So that was of interest to me this week as well.
Great. Did you get up to anything in the portfolios or?
Yeah, still cleaning up a few things here and there. Made a couple of adjustments. I've been holding MSOS for a while, which is the cannabis ETF. I switched that out to something else, and did that recently. So just did a switch out to Pagaya Technologies. Interesting company. It was a SPAC that de-SPACed, and stock's down about 90%, but interesting technology they have. So did that, and starting to look at the H&R as a specific example. Pretty good diversified business. Stocks down 50%. They cover their dividend very easily, about 50% payout of the dividend, 6% dividend yield. So starting to look at that, and like I say, lots of these companies starting to come into their purview. Like one of the other big high flyers from last year was Nuvei Corp, which is a Canadian company, kind of fintechy related. The stock's down 70% from its highs. Business hasn't changed, still interesting, still good. Lightspeed updated their numbers this week. For people that don't know what Lightspeed is, it's effectively like Shopify, just a smaller version of it. They came out with their updated guidance this week, and National Bank put out research on it. They got $800 million in cash. They're actually profitable, making money. Growth path looks great. Kind of 40-50% upside targets on it. So lots of things are coming into view here, and a lot of it has to do with higher rates. And so it's been where I've been spending some time.
Gotcha. Okay, while you're getting the charts up there, I just want to mention a couple things for people to watch out for. First of all, we kind of soft launched the financial assessment that we put together. Kind of gives us an idea of where you're at, breaks your finances down into a few different areas. So I've kind of been sending that out along with the daily in the morning. So if you don't open the daily every day, check back the last few days and you can find the link there. Or if you want specifically, you can either email myself or Ben and we can send you the link. The other thing is, we've teamed up with Mackenzie Investments, and we have a really exciting webinar coming up. I believe it's July 5th,
Yes.
on the role of the executor, because we get a lot of people asking us about estate planning. So we're actually going to do a bit of series of webinars with Mackenzie Investments, and they've brought in a great guest speaker for us. So I just wanted to give people a heads up. We will be sending out emails and invites out next week for that. Obviously, it's free for our clients just to watch online. So yeah, anything I forgot as far as the two announcements, or any other household or housekeeping things, Ben?
No, I think that one's really good. I mean, Jackie, who will be giving the presentation, she's an expert in the space, and it's one of those times. I know lots of clients, unfortunately, have been executors because of people that have passed in their lives. But for those that haven't, there's so much to learn and know. It's a great chance to ask the questions because we've recently settled, I think, 4 estates in the last, we'll say 6-8 weeks. And there's a lot of questions that people don't know before we get there. So it's a good opportunity certainly to listen to it, but also to give you a chance to ask a question if there's something you don't know, or something that you have a concern about. It's a great opportunity to do that.
Yep, absolutely. And also, if you have family members that might be interested in it as well, like I said, it's free to all of our clients and their families as well. So you can forward on the links and the sign up pages for that as well. All right, Ben, let's get into the charts. What do you got for us today? You promised me it would be no more than 3. What is it today?
47 charts today.
Oh my goodness, it's ridiculous.
Just kidding. We're keeping it simple today.
All right.
Very, very simple.
Okay, well,
I think.
Have at it.
Can you see it? All good?
Good to go.
All right. So I don't know if it was last week or the previous week, but we'd put this chart up before, and LEI stands for leading economic indicators. And so you can see this chart effectively since the mid 60s. And so it's a long chart, and a lot of the charts that you see out there on TV, or even a lot of them that I put out, tend to be compressed. You see like a smaller time frame, 6 weeks, 6 months, a couple of years. But this is a better view of kind of the longer tail, which is what the economy is, leading economic indicators. And so as we look at these, you would get these expansionary periods, which would be the expansionary periods would be the kind of the peak of the mountains here. And the bottom of the mountains would be the contractionary periods or the recessionary periods. So as we look through, obviously, these were some of the deeper ones you probably remember. In some cases, certainly 2009, and then 2019, you may recall we went into that period where central banks tightened too much into December of that year, and we saw a pretty material correction in the equity markets, but also a material contraction in the economy. And so as we get to where we are today, again, the leading economic indicators are saying we're in a recession now. And so that's something I've been saying for quite some time. So nothing's really changed materially there, but I thought this was an interesting way to think about it because most of the economic data is lagging. And so as we go through, there's lots of questions that I get over the week. And so this is one I thought we'd put out there because oftentimes I'm asked about kind of where, what's the expected return, kind of what's the market saying about that expected return. And so I put up this is the oil charts and this is gold, just to give you a sense of how the two separate commodities kind of view what the future could be like. And so presently we have oil, WTI and Brent in a normal trajectory. And what that normal trajectory is that prices go down the further out the curve you go. And so as the view is that the economy is where it is, it looks like future prices, you'll pay less for future prices. And so that curve is a descending curve. And so we look at that right now. This has a lot to do with kind of where we are in the cycle. So I think it's worth paying attention to. And then gold, on the other hand, has the opposite. And so as we talk about gold, I think we're in a slowing economic environment. That's what the data is saying. Inflation's still a little bit high. That tends to be the environment where gold tends to do quite well. For most of the research that I've read on gold the last couple of weeks, does appear that we're having a technical correction. Tried to get back down to kind of the 200-day moving average earlier this week, and it's bounced off of that. So the future price is gold is higher with the present setup in the markets. Couple more quick ones. So often, as I talk about stocks with people, I think these are, as I go through the different research pieces, I like to try to kind of tease out some of the information that comes from the different sources. And this particular one is BMO's research, as I get research from multiple places, and I like to look at the different ones and love them or hate them. But as you look at, as I mentioned, the pipelines continue to be under pressure. And so BMO's report this week on TransCanada, or TC Energy, they're called now, this is how they do their valuation matrix. And so if you look at it, they have their valuations. Here's where we think it is. Here's the upside scenario. Here's the downside scenario. Here's the catalyst. Kind of a simplistic way to look at it. But when I'm thinking about investing in something, a stock, these are kind of the similar way I think about it. Okay, if we get 9 to 10% downside, 20 to 40% upside, that's a pretty great risk reward. And so I thought this was a nice way that they put out kind of their views based on kind of what the information is saying. Two more quick ones, and then we'll jump out to talk about what's happening next week. And so every day Hedgeye puts out their views. I mean, they follow lots of different things, but if you look at these are the different ticker symbols, the different prices, the different views on bullish or bearish. The bullish or bearish are trends, and then the upside downside potential for the day. And so if we look at here, there's obviously some pretty material swing factors on the upside and the downside. And so that's when you'd be thinking about, does it make sense to do anything now, wait, or buy? And so a lot of these are in the middle of the range right now. But I think this is something that I get each day, and it's worth paying attention to when I'm deciding if it's time to enter or exit a stock at that time. So this is the last one, then see if we have any questions and give an update on what I think is happening next week. So, as we had a pretty busy week in the crypto space, we saw a rally in Bitcoin this week. BlackRock came out with they filed their spot ETF earlier this week, and so it got a lot of attention. My view for a while, which I've been talking about, is I think the markets and the regulators have essentially been waiting for BlackRock to come up with one, or one of the big providers to come up with a spot before they approve one. GBTC, which is a closed end that's been trying to get approved as an ETF, spiked about 20% on Monday when the announcement came out. So that'll be important to watch. But if we look at this breakdown here, again, continues to be the majority of money in the crypto space, 60 plus. Almost 70% is in Bitcoin or Ethereum. So that's where the institutional money continues to flow at the present time.
Okay, great. As always, if anybody's any questions, just hit the Q&A button at the bottom. Get your last minute questions in here. All right, Ben, as we wrap up for this beautiful start to summer weekend, I think today is the longest day of the year, isn't it? Is it today or was it yesterday?
21st, I believe. So a couple days ago.
Oh, a couple days. Hey,
yeah.
First I thought it was the 26th today, and now it's a couple days late. Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Why don't you wrap us up and tell us what we got planned for next week?
Sure. There's quite a bit on the economic calendar next week. So in Canada on Tuesday we get CPI update. We think it's going to be a little bit softer than expected, as I've said before. Also in the US on Tuesday, we got tons of data, new home sales, durable goods, transportation, consumer confidence. So lots there in the US, mortgage applications on Wednesday, GDP numbers on Thursday for the US, and on Friday in Canada, we get GDP numbers, month over month GDP numbers. So that will be the last week, the last day of June and last day of the quarter. So lots of economic data to come out. Didn't comment on European data. Also a ton of economic European data coming out next week.
Great.
Yep.
Okay. Any parting words?
think that's it. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Again, if you need something, certainly feel free to book meetings, give us a call. And we've been busy talking to clients and going through updates, and it's been a good time to reach out and talk.
Great time. Okay, everybody, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks. Take care.